Dreams are not those which you see in your sleep, but dreams are those which you don't let you sleep. These words were told by the legendary APJ Abdul Kalam. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to Evolving Consciousness. I'm your host Purushottam, and in today's video, the central theme of today's video is going to be on the topic of vision and ideals, or in layman terms, dreams in general. We are going to continue our series which we started a couple of days back on this phenomenal book which is called As a Man Thinketh, which is written by James Allen. Now, to begin with, dreams is something which we all have had in our life, right? Whether we dreamt of becoming an astronaut when we were a kid, or all the small and the big dreams which each of us has in our life. There probably is not many people on this planet who don't have dreams, whether small or big. Dreams is something which sort of encompasses every human mind, right? It's always there in a human mind about his dreams, whether his dreams will get fulfilled or not. Whether it be small or big, dreams are something which has always captivated our attention and interest. So today's video we are going to go deep, we are going to dive deep into this concept of dreams, visions and ideals, and what does James Allen think about it from a thought perspective as to how vision and ideals serve as a potent fuel, and what are the different parallel narratives surrounding this concept of vision and ideals which will help us achieve those dreams. So let's go into this captivating book, As a Man Thinketh, and let's understand what James is talking about in this chapter, visions and ideals. Now he says that dreamers are the saviors of the world. As the visible world is sustained by the invisible, so men, through all their trials and sins and sordid vocations, mistakes and sufferings, are nourished by the beautiful visions of the solitary dreamers. Now it's very interesting to note that anyone who has accomplished big in his life, he always had a vision. He always had a vision of his particular dream. He always had a particular vision which he kept in his mind, and he had a relentless commitment towards the dream. No matter what the current reality at that point of time was, he denied the evidence of the senses at that time, which probably was saying that his dream is not possible. Take the example of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. Take the example of Wright brothers. Now, probably most of us don't know the history of Wright brothers. Wright brothers were bicycle mechanics, right? So they were bicycle mechanics. They didn't have a lot of infrastructure to come up with the technology that they could sort of invent the conventional airplanes which we sort of are aware of today, right? But these people were mere bicycle mechanics, and with the competency level they had, with the kind of infrastructure and resources they had at their disposal at that point of time, they had this unbending, relentless commitment towards their vision of being able to fly. And that brought about the dream to reality, that converted the dream into reality. Now, probably they also would have faced a lot of criticism. They also would have faced a lot of naysayers which said that this is not a practical dream. Like most of us, when we try to strive towards contemplating of a dream, or we strive towards achieving a dream, you will be surrounded with a lot of criticisms. You will be surrounded with people who will speak less of your dreams, who will sort of give negative connotations to your dreams. But we can always learn from the legends and understand as to how they approach naysayers. Now let's get back to the focus of this book. He says humanity cannot forget its dreamers. It cannot let their ideals fade and die. It lives in them. It knows them as the realities which it shall one day see and know. Composer, sculptor, painter, poet, prophet, sage. These are the markers of the afterworld, the architects of heaven. The world is beautiful because they have lived. Without them, laboring humanity would perish. Now, if you think about it, any great invention was essentially created first in the eye of the mind, in the eye of the imagination. Albert Einstein put it so well. He said imagination is more important than knowledge. Because let's understand this, imagination is something which is so powerful that we often don't even realize it. We don't understand the faculties of imagination which human beings are bestowed with, and this imagination sort of serves as the foundation for the realization of all the visions and dreams. Now, the company in which I work in, right, General Electric, the legendary company in which I work in, the tagline is imagination at work. Every great invention was initially imagined. Every great vision was realized only when it came into the eye of the mind. The person who had that vision was so unbending and was so committed to the realization of the dream that he bended reality all around him. He brought that vision to terms with reality, and he converted his dream into reality. He who cherishes a beautiful vision, a lofty ideal in his heart, will one day realize it. Columbus cherished a vision of another world, and he discovered it. Copernicus fostered the vision of a multiplicity of worlds and a wider universe, and he revealed it. Buddha beheld the vision of a spiritual world of stainless beauty and perfect peace, and he entered into it. Cherish your visions, cherish your ideals, cherish the music that stirs in your heart, the beauty that forms in your mind, the loveliness that drapes your purest thoughts. For out of them will grow all delightful conditions, all heavenly environment of these. If you but remain true to them, your world will at last be built. Now, James is emphasizing on this sort of a relentless focus towards cherishing your visions and ideals. No matter what the evidence, what the senses are giving you at that point of time, probably your current reality says something completely different. Probably your current reality is saying that your dreams are not possible. But James is saying, don't struggle to hold the vision, instead, cherish it. Cherish your visions, cherish your ideals, cherish the music that stirs in your heart. To desire is to obtain, to aspire is to achieve. Shall man's basest desires receive the fullest measure of gratification, and his purest aspirations starve for lack of sustenance? Such is not the law. Such a condition of things can never obtain, ask and receive. Now, this is a beautiful, subtle point he's trying to portray, that most of humanity, right, they want to gratify their basest desires. Now, basest desires means it can be anything from accumulating a lot of material things without really having an aspiration to serve humanity or to create something which is not only going to benefit the person himself, but is also going to serve humanity in general. And he says such a particular desire will probably not qualify to the law which says ask and receive. Dream lofty dreams, and as you dream, so shall you become. Your vision is the promise of what you shall one day be. Your ideal is the prophecy of what you shall at last unveil. Dreams beget realities. The greatest achievement was at first and for a time a dream. The oak sleeps in the corn, the bird waits in the egg, and then the highest vision of the soul, a waking angel stirs. Dreams are the seedlings of realities. Your circumstances may be uncongenial, but they shall not long remain so if you but pursue an ideal and strive to reach it. Now, James is saying that whatever our current reality is, if we are completely committed to our ideal, if we pursue the ideal and strive with absolute levels of perseverance towards it, circumstances are going to change. Reality is going to bend as per our dreams, right? So that it catalyzes the fulfillment of our dreams. You cannot travel within and stand still without. Here is a youth hard pressed by poverty and labor, confined long hours in an unhealthy workshop, unschooled and lacking all the arts of refinement, but he dreams of better things. He thinks of intelligence, of refinement, of grace and beauty. He conceives of, mentally builds up an ideal condition of life, the vision of a wider liberty and a larger scope. takes possession of him. Unrest surges upon him to action, and he utilizes his spare time and means, small though they are, to the development of his latent powers and resources. Now, as I started this particular video with the famous quote by APJ Abdul Kalam, that dreams are not something which you sleep and see. Dreams are something which don't let you sleep. Now, when you are so much committed to a vision, which is coming from a place of heart, you will find yourself completely unconsciously motivated to take actions. You won't need to be dependent on outside motivation or drive for you to propel your actions. You will automatically start taking the required and necessary actions at the right point of time. Very soon, so altered has his mind become that the workshop can no longer hold him. It has become so out of harmony with his mentality that it falls out of his life as a garment is cast aside, and with the growth of opportunities which fit the scope of his expanding powers, he passes out of it forever. Now he says that the more you raise your awareness and consciousness in your actions in alignment with your dreams, no matter how difficult your current circumstances, your present reality is, you will completely come out of that situation and you'll find yourself in a situation wherein the dream becomes a reality, or the chances of the dream becoming a reality seem to be more evident to you. We find him a master of certain forces of the mind which he wields with worldwide influence and almost unequaled power. In his hands, he holds the cords of gigantic responsibilities. He speaks and lives are changed. Men and women hang upon his words and remold their character, and sun-like he becomes the fixed and luminous center around which innumerable destinies revolve. He has realized the vision of his youth. He has become one with his ideal. And you too, youthful reader, will realize the vision of your heart, be it base or beautiful, or a mixture of both, for you will always gravitate toward that which you secretly most love. Now, this is a beautiful concept that James is talking about. He's saying human beings naturally gravitate to things which they secretly harbor love towards. Now, you might be thinking, what does this mean, right? This makes logical sense. You naturally will gravitate towards things which you find naturally attractive. And you don't need to use willpower and you don't need to use discipline to sort of strive towards those things, because you have a natural tendency, or you have an inclination, or you foster the emotion of love towards those things. Into your hands you will place the exact results of your own thoughts. You will receive that which you earn, no more, no less. Now he says that any person, no matter what he receives in his life, good, bad, it's all a consequence of his own actions, thoughts, beliefs. There is no injustice in this world. Everything is perfectly just and equipoised. Because for us, injustice, we are viewing injustice from a very straight standpoint, and we don't have a very holistic, cosmic level of intelligence to judge that particular thing. So we just call it injustice. But essentially, James is saying, whatever one receives in his life, he justly earns. You will become, whatever your present environment may be, you will fall, remain, or rise with your thoughts, your vision, your ideal. You will become as small as your controlling desire, as great as your dominant aspiration. Now, this is a beautiful point. We human beings naturally are controlled by our desires. Now, this can be at a subtle level or at a gross level. Just think about it this way. Whatever desire you have, now desire can become an addiction when it becomes a gross manifestation. Now, most of us are addicted at such subtle levels that we are not even aware of our addictions. But these things sort of control us in a way. They sort of bring our attention to them. And we naturally are controlled by our desires, but actually it should have been the other way around. We should be creating our desires and controlling them. But James says the smallest of your desires are actually controlling every thought of yours, and essentially which sort of boils down to your actions. Your thoughts boils down to your actions in certain level. So he's saying that your desires are controlling you as great as your dominant aspiration. Now, if you have a dominant aspiration, that is also sort of maneuvering your thoughts, beliefs, and actions in a certain direction. And the student is ready, the master will appear. In the beautiful words of Stanton Kirkham Davis, you may be keeping accounts, and presently you shall walk out of the door that for so long has seemed to you the barrier of your ideals, and shall find yourself before an audience, the pen still behind your ear, the ink stains on your fingers, and then and there shall pour out the torrent of your inspiration. You may be driving sheep, and you shall wander to the city, an open mouthed, shall wander under the intrepid guidance of the Spirit into the studio of the Master, and after a time he shall say, I have nothing more to teach you. And now you have become the Master, who did so recently dream of great things while driving sheep. You shall lay down the saw and the plane to take up yourself the regeneration of the world. There is no such thing as luck. Now he says that essentially there is nothing called as luck. Now I read this beautiful definition of luck which said, luck is the marriage of preparation and opportunity. You might be flooded with countless opportunities, but if you are not prepared enough to capitalize on those opportunities, those are not something you can utilize, right? Those are not something noteworthy or worthwhile, because you just let those opportunities go to waste. The thoughtless, the ignorant, and the indolent, seeing only the apparent effect of things and not the things themselves. Seeing a man grow rich, they say how lucky he is. Observing another become intellectual, they exclaim how highly favored he is. And noting the saintly character and wide influence of another, they remark how chance aids him at every turn. They do not see the trials and failures and struggles which these men have voluntarily encountered in order to gain their experience, have no knowledge of the sacrifices they have made, of the undaunted efforts they have put forth, the faith they have exercised, that they might overcome the apparently insurmountable and realize the vision of their heart. Now, this is so true and evident even in today's time. Most of us think that few people got lucky, right? But what we fail to realize and acknowledge, we see their success, but we don't see the amount of struggles the person has gone through, the amount of criticism, the amount of failures, the amount of torturous nights and days where he had to always look at reality which has nothing to do with his dreams. Everybody spoke ill of his dreams. Now, most of us, we all have dreams in our life. And when something happens which is not sort of serving that plot of the dream, we immediately become so pessimistic and we stop dreaming. But one thing you'll realize about these people, right? These people were so committed to their dream that they completely denied the evidence of the senses. They knew that sooner or later they are going to fulfill their dreams. And sooner or later they did fulfill their dreams. And James is saying that stop looking at anyone's success and equate that with luck. There is nothing called luck. People who talk about luck, those are the people who probably have not worked on themselves, probably who haven't capitalized this power of human mind. Those are the people who talk about luck. Sure, there are opportunities, sure, there are karmic consequences which every soul needs to go through. But what is the response of an individual in a particular gruesome circumstance that either breaks or makes your destiny? So essentially, we always have the choice. We always have that significant zone wherein we can either make or break our destiny. In all human affairs, there are efforts and there are results, and the strength of the effort is the measure of the results. Chance is not. Gifts, power, material, intellectual, and spiritual possessions are the fruits of effort. They are thoughts completed, objects accomplished, visions realized. The vision that you glorify in your mind, the ideal that you enthrone in your heart, this you will build your life by, this you will become. Now, this is a beautiful point, and to put it in a very simple terms, the kind of goals, the kind of visions you have, now most of us unconsciously have negative visions, and we are unconsciously training our consciousness to resonate with certain beliefs, certain actions which sort of complement that particular belief system. Now suppose you might be someone who is always thinking ill of himself, who has a very pessimistic view of your future, now the current actions and thoughts which are going to come in your brain is always going to align with that pessimistic vision. And sooner or later, your life is going to become a tragedy and you're going to blame luck for that. But James is saying that if you hold a lofty vision which is close to your heart and you persist in that vision for a very long period of time without seeking evidence of immediate results, sooner or later reality changes and it conforms to the dreams you deeply cherish and nurture. This is the power of this particular book, because it talks about such excruciating detail about so many different aspects of the human mind and thought in general, and this chapter really gave us a holistic viewpoint about what dreams, visions and ideals are. Any person can dream, right? But what is necessary is what are the things which makes a dream into reality, and how much of commitment we have towards the dream, towards that vision. We are so hijacked by opinion of others around us. We feel so demotivated when results are not immediately evident. But we need to look at the life of legends. They also never got results immediately. I'm going to make a video probably a few days later about the great Abraham Lincoln, the famous president of the United States, whose life was filled with tragedies. I mean, you and me cannot even comprehend the amount of pain, both in the personal and the professional sphere, the person had endured. Yet he became a legend whose identity became immortalized because he understood the principles of perseverance and commitment and always having a dream which you believed in with utter conviction. No matter what the world told you around you, no matter how belittled your dreams were made by others, right? No matter how many naysayers criticize your dreams, if you are relentlessly committed to a true purpose which is close to your heart, dreams do become true. Dreams do become a reality. I hope this video motivated you to start dreaming more, and not only start dreaming more, but having this persistent level of action towards your dream. Because just dreaming won't get you to your dreams. But having an optimistic framework towards that particular dream will serve you, and eventually your dreams will become a reality. Hope this video served you and hope this video was of value to you. If you really enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share and also give me your valuable feedback about what you liked about this video and what are the things which have a potential for improvement. Thank you so much for your time on my video. I'm sincerely grateful for your time and I'll meet you in the next video. Bye.